Soft snoring filled the room, thanks to me, around noon. Being a Sunday, I had no plans than to sleep all day, really. Well, that's what I thought at the time. Bang, bang, bang. Open up before I explode you to bits. A gut-wrenching loud noise came from outside my bedroom window, causing me to jump out of bed in fright, slamming my butt onto the floor. When I looked over and saw who was at my window, I sighed before flopping to the floor yet again and closing my eyes. I didn't feel like dealing with Katsuki and his bullshit today. Oh, plus, I was still really tired, even though it was midday. As I remembered, in that moment, though, I didn't have a choice than to go with him. I got back up and stuck my middle finger up at him before going inside my closet to get changed. At this point, I was sprinting to save my ass before getting slain to death. It's not my fault that I forgot to meet up with Katsuki today. I couldn't control my thoughts in my sleep, thank you very much. As I ran around my house, Katsuki sat on the couch barking at me to hurry up every 5 seconds like a dog. Sometimes I wish I could use my quirk in here. I tripped over my shoes, my toothbrush fell out of my mouth, and I burnt the toast I was trying to set in for too long. I groaned before Katsuki yelled at me again. Hurry up, Yen, we don't have all day. When I was fully ready, though, I was panting mess, holding my knees from all the running. And a second later, I flopped to the floor once more as Katsuki gave me an evil glare. He wasn't wasting any time as he grabbed my ankle and began to drag me through the house. I was begging. I was dragged down the street and across the city to Katsuki's house. Once we were there, he chucked me to the backyard before saying, Come on, let's go, he said before cracking his knuckles. I trained with Katsuki for a little while, using our quirks and such, blah 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 that, blah 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 this. I'm still practicing to fly, even though I could do it perfectly that day. It was honestly quite fun practicing my quirk on a strong opponent like him. But I wiped a few beads of sweat from my forehead before Katsuki and I began to talk back inside. So Yen, I see you've been hanging out with that loser a lot recently. He grunted to me, looking at the ground. My eyes shot over to him as I cocked my head. What do you mean? I asked curiously. You've been spending loads of time with Deku, is what I mean. Jealousy is just radiating off of his spiky head. I swear if you could see it, it'd be shooting to the roof and up to the sky. Why do you care? I asked him once more before he growled. Because now you're hanging out with me. Les, damn it, he screeched in my face. Shut up, Katsuki. Mitsuki, his mother, screamed through the house as we got inside. I looked down to the ground as Katsuki looked over at me to look as he wanted a response. I glanced up at him and saw hurt. I felt guilty, bubbling in my stomach, as he was just waiting for me to say something. I'm so sorry, Katsuki, I choked out. I didn't realize. I felt so bad for leaving my best friend my whole life in the dust, but who could blame him? I felt 2 arms wrap around my middle and saw Katsuki. Okay, guys, this is the strangest thing that's ever happened to me. Especially to him. I was expecting it from, like, my mom or dad, but him? You're talking to a barking man. I hugged him back before I began to walk home. I couldn't help thinking about why Katsuki had done all that. Was I spending too much time with Izuku? A sigh escaped my lips as I continued my trek home. And here was the next day. The bell rang and signaling that it was time for lunch. I made my way to the cafeteria as fast as possible so Izuku wouldn't spot me walking alone. I dashed into that hectic, hellhole, catastrophic room and over to the Pocky Squad's table. Hey guys! I placed my lunch down. Everyone looked at me and greeted. Long time no see, Kirishima said through his sharp teeth. It was weird to call everyone by their names, but... especially not remembering it for so long. I guess studying them from class photos was a good idea after all. Izuku's POV. My eyes darted around, looking for Yen. But she wasn't in the classroom, and she wasn't at her usual table. Why wouldn't she sit here? Sue and Uraka were already here. All of her friends. Shut up, Yen! That was nothing! I heard from across the room, and saw Kachan with Yen. I felt a tiny part of me shatter in that moment. I've been hanging out with her loads recently, I know, but I still can't help but feel jealousy. My eyes were glued to her for a moment before I felt something beside me. Uraka was standing there trying to see what I was looking at, her eyes trailing over towards Yen before her face dropped. You want Yen to sit with us, don't you? She asked, her eyes not looking away. Kind of. Yeah, I admitted, looking down, wanting to bite my bottom lip from quivering. My eyes leaving Yen, I see Uraka. I saw something new in her eyes. Like anger? No. Pleasure. If she's going to pick Bakugo over you, then she's not worthy of your time. Simple, she said, dragging me away. My eyes laid on her one last time. I do really like Yen. I've got to learn to let her hang out with other people too. I was taken back to our table. The others looked at me with worry as I sat down with a smile. I want Yen to be happy. So, I need to accept that she's friends with Kachan, and that she is going to hang out with him. A sigh escaped my lips. I do miss Yen. Your POV. I let out a small sigh escape me as the others were laughing and chatting. Man, I miss Izuku. It doesn't help that I've fallen in love with that hero-loving boy. Does it?